But while you're thinking about it, I'm gonna double back. It's live. What are you gonna do? I'm gonna double back to the opening doors thing, because that's, to me, that's minimum. Like, that's like the bare
Eight?
minimum that can happen.
Yes.
And I remember I was dating this guy, and he would open literally, that's what I would do. I'd walk up to a door and I would stand there, and he opened every door. And I remember one of the reasons why I really liked him too. This is really silly, but guys, take notice. Okay, because it's such a little thing. We went to this town. It's called Hood River, and there's all these shops and restaurants, and there were so many stores. It was Christmas time, so that everything was decorated. And we went there on a little getaway, and we went into like 50 shops. And every single time we went into a shop, he opened the door and in and out, right? So, and there were like in and out constantly. He opened every door. Now, flash forward to after, this was early. So flash forward to after the mask was like cracking. I remember I was visiting him, and we went into this one store. And so when you're dating, right, you're observing. You should be observing each other and seeing how people move, right? And see if you like how they're perform. You don't tell them, you just watch and you see how they do things, right? So I was still watching, because we were kind of like, at this point, maybe gonna reconcile, and I was trying to decide if I wanted to. So I remember we went into this shop, and he was walking out of the door before me, right? So I'm walking behind him. He went to the door and he walked out of it, and he like sort of held it open for me, kind of, but didn't like traditionally hold the door. And another man jumped in front of me and pushed the door open and held the door for me to walk out. And he saw that, and he never did that again. Right. But I noticed that whole scene, because in my mind, as it was happening, I was going, he's not going to open the door. He's not going to. It's such a little thing. Don't get it twisted. I know it's such a small thing, but really it's the bare minimum. It really is just something kind that you can do. Yeah. And it's one of those things that for me, like, I mean, sometimes he would pull out my chair. He didn't always. I didn't trip over that kind of thing. But opening the door, I don't know. For me, is just kind of something that you do. Even my sons do it for me. They know, right? It's just something that you do as a gentleman, right? And you always pay, And I mean, I'm not saying the girl can't pay at some point if she like tip or something, get the popcorn. I don't, whatever. Sometimes I do stuff like I'll be like, hey, it's your birthday. I'm taking us on a trip, whatever. But because that's just me. But I think generally the guy pays, and if you can't afford to pay, then you shouldn't be dating. or you date a girl who maybe is not there, where she doesn't, like, you got to assess whether she is the kind that wants you to pay or not. But honestly, I think that most women who have some value for themselves expect a man to pay, at least for the first few dates, if not all of them. I will tell you right now, I expect a guy to pay for all of them. So because I will cook, like at some point I'm going to invite you to my house, and I'm going to buy all the groceries, and I'm going to cook, and I'm going to do all of this stuff, because at some point I guarantee you, if we get into a relationship, guess what's going to be happening? What happened to you? I'm going to be cooking. I'm going to be doing things. You know what I mean? I'm going to be doing more things than, you know what I'm saying? So anyway.
God, I could go on and on. Let me tell you. Oh, yeah, I'm there right with you. The one little example I was going to give, this is actually after we were married. We went on vacation. We had to take a flight. I hurt my Achilles tendon running. I was running a lot at that time. And so I was limping, and it hurt. But I still had to carry my own suitcase. My roll, at least my carry-on. Like, I was rolling it as I'm limping. And then we got onto the plane, and he happens to be in front of me. And we get to our seat, and he turns around. He's got his bag and his hand behind him, and I'm like got mine in front of me because I'm kind of using it as a little like roller, right? And he turns to me and he lets his bag go and says, "I'm gonna go use the bathroom." Takes off down to the back of the plane. As I'm standing there with both of his bags, both my bag and his carry-on.
So you have to put him in the overhead by yourself, injured?
Yeah.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's definitely, it's like things had to build up. I may have let things build up way too long before I finally gave up. But
it sounds like a small thing. I know if you're listening to this, you're probably like, oh, he didn't put her bag up there. But women, you know, it is just this kind of thing where like I go to the airport and strange men put my bags up for me if I need my
Yeah.
bag up. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like there is a difference that you can and there are men who are listening to this and you know who you are. You know what we're talking about. You're probably thinking to yourself too, "Oh my gosh, I cannot imagine that he did not put those bags up for her before he went to the bathroom," because you know who you are. You know what I mean? You know how to treat a woman. And if you don't know how that's how you treat a woman, now you know.
So
You
I
know.
want to kind of say, like, there's definitely, like, to me, it's more of like masculine, feminine energies,
Mm-hmm.
energies. And I speak about the divinity, right? So there's divine feminine and divine masculine. And there is an order with that. That's like, it's a natural order, it's an instinctual manner. And we all work better when we actually live this way in our masculine, feminine, in our divine feminine, or sorry, masculine, divine masculine, divine feminine, right? And when we allow the masculine to be masculine and not like there's that whole word of demasculinization, like when there's women out there who like will demasculinize a man, and then they start to feel like unworthy, and relationships can go south. Masculine is attracted to feminine and feminine is attracted to masculine, so you're welcome for me wanting you and allowing you to put my bag up, like, because now you're being the masculine and I'm allowing you to be that for me, take care of me. And then I feel taken care of by my suitor, by my protector. And so when my heart feels safe and I feel protected and I feel like I'm being taken care of by my masculine energy, and then I want to be the nurturer. I want to give every, like, and it's like, it's almost like I feel like us as feminine, we will give way more than you give us. You just need a little. And it's like, and I mean, I'm a prime example of that. I may have overgiven, but I mean, that's neither here nor there anymore. I'm just saying, like, there's a natural, it's a dance. It's like there is a lead and a follow, right? And when the normally the masculine leads and the follow is the feminine, and when you get into that dance, there comes a moment where you lose who's leading, who's following. And it's a beautiful, like, just natural wave and ease of just being together. And it's a beautiful, like, connected thing to do. So it's like, you stay in your lane, I'll stay in mine. Let me stay feminine. You stay masculine. But I need you to be that masculine man for me. So,
Yeah. And I mean, it's not about gender roles, but it is about that energy of masculine, feminine.
Right.
And I agree.
That's what I speak about. It could be a relationship. Sorry, I'm going to cut you off. It could be a relationship of a female, male, whatever it is. It's just like, it is one, doesn't matter what relationship it is. There's one person that's going to be the more masculine than the other. And there's one person that's going to be the more feminine than the other. So, please, I'm sorry.
Totally. Oh, no, you're good. So it makes me feel like something that I understand about that is that men sorely need appreciation. So
Yes.
when they are doing things, and maybe you're in a relationship and you're watching this right now and you're like, I tend to do a lot and I feel like my man doesn't do enough. But when he does do something, you should appreciate him. Even if you feel like that, even if you feel like, oh my God, I do 90% of everything and he does, less than 10. You know what I mean? Like, you should appreciate the thing that he does do because it's positive reinforcement, number one. And men are sorely unappreciated and undervalued, I feel,
so.
in a lot of ways. And so when I can tell you, like, to completely support what you said, when I feel protected and I feel safe and I feel taken care of by a man, because I date men, so I'll go with that. I'm very appreciative. And so that's the reciprocity. So like, you do things for me. Like, for example, a very simple thing. I was out on a date, and there was these workers working by where we were walking. We were sort of going for a long walk by the water. And there were these workers working. And one of them made a comment and sort of like did some motion as we were going by, sort of. And so the guy I was with was like walked around to the other side of me. So he was walking by the water, and then he started walking on that side of me, and he stayed there. Right.
Yep.
And it was just that little thing. And we're on a date,
Yes.
and I just watched it happen. And I thought, I feel protected. Right.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out with this guy again. You know what I mean? It was just like that simple thing of feeling protected, feeling safe, and feeling and appreciating that. And telling them, you know, I really appreciate this when you do this. I really appreciate that when you do that, you know, and really being grateful, because gratitude is the highest energy, but like just being grateful. And I think a lot of men do not feel that or get that. They don't receive that very beautiful, loving, nurturing, appreciative energy from women. And therefore they want to do less.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes they just don't want to do anything at all anyways. And, you know, then you have to evaluate whether you want to stay with them, which brings me to my next question for you. So what was the low moment? Because I think we all get, if you ended a relationship, there's a moment where you go, I've got to leave this relationship. I've got to go. What was yours?
Well, it started a few years prior. There was a moment where we had a car and a motorcycle, and I could drive a motorcycle. I have a license for it, but it's too tall for me. And I had an appointment. He wanted to go to the gym, and he was not having it. He wanted me to cancel my appointment, but I would have been charged because it was like an hour before the appointment. I found out he wanted the car. And so I was like, well, then I guess I was kind of testing to see what he would say. I didn't think he would agree with it, but I was like, I'll get on the motorcycle. I will show you that I cannot do it safely. We'll do it just in the parking lot. And luckily I put my helmet on. And I did not do it on purpose. I put that on my dogs. I put that on my own life. I wasn't even thinking. I didn't think I would actually get in an accident. I got in an accident in the parking lot because I could not touch the ground. So on the way to the motorcycle, he was actually literally probably about 100 times before I got on that motorcycle. Whatever you do, don't drop it. Whatever you do, don't drop it. I mean, that's going on in my head. And here I am, 5'1.5". I'm tiny. I'm like short, and this thing's tall. So literally I have my tippy toes like this. And he's standing next to me, and I put my helmet on, thinking I wasn't going to need it, but I put it on anyways. Something told me to. Luckily, I listened. And I'm like, I'm taking off. I'm like, I can take off. This is easy. No problem. But now all I can think about is not jumping the bike, because he's, whatever you do, drop it. I'm so scared to drop the bike. And I'm like, okay, I'm starting to break. I'm thinking he's walking next to me because I'm going that slow. I'm not even like taking off. I'm like, okay, I've got a little cool. But now watch me stop. And here I am. I should just let drop, because that would have said that. But instead, I panicked when I looked and I didn't see him there. I let go of the clutch and hit the gas. And because you turn your head to look, you turn the bike. I went smack into a wall, face first. And I went up on the gas tank. I couldn't walk for a month. I crawled up the stairs because he didn't take me up. He didn't carry me upstairs. I waited one flight up one stair. So I crawled from the parking lot. Wind knocked out of me. He ran to the bike instead of me. So I crawled through the parking lot, got up the stairs. He's like, just go inside. Just go inside. I'm like, I can't move. What do you mean go inside? So with all of my guster that I could, I crawled up to the upstairs and went into my apartment, sat on the couch, and just like, I couldn't walk for the next month. I had to use my toes to like crawl my legs forward, like, and then I would use the computer chair to like use as my roller. I'd be sitting on the couch, and he'd be in the kitchen at the refrigerator grabbing himself a bottle of water. I'm like, can I have a water, please? He said, no, go up yourself. And that was my defining moment of like, I don't think this is the man for me. Because, I do not want a husband that treats me like this. And eventually we kind of had a conversation about that, like after I kind of already healed a month or two later. I said, that really hurt me. I thought I had this really good conversation with my husband at the time, explaining to him how I felt, and it seemed like he understood. He's like, I could see how that hurt you. I'm sorry I didn't take care of you, blah, 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 blah. So, and it just went downhill. That was 2018, and I left him in 2021, June. No. Oh my gosh. Time flies. I don't even know what year it is anymore.
Sorry, my kid is gaming and yelling, so I can hear you. It's summer vacation. What are you gonna do? So,
good.
how did you tell him, like, so you finally decided you're leaving, that's it, like, it, you tried to talk to him about it, he was like, yeah, got it, should have been better.
So right, years later, I did start going to therapy, and then my therapist told me at one point in time we had ended up moving from that apartment to a really nice apartment in Brentwood. It was my dream apartment. I was so excited and lived there for about a year. During that year, it was like the relationship went really downhill. Like the moment we moved over there, it went really downhill. And in that year, that's when I basically took on all of everything during that year. And so little by little, I was just like, nope. More and more things stacking up. And one day my therapist told me, she's like, it sounds like you're more worried about losing your apartment than you are your husband. And I'm like, I'm like, oh, that's a light bulb. Yeah. So it did take my therapist kind of opening my eyes to that. And it took a few times. I wanted to take a break. I wanted to just drive. I had a couple sisters living in Las Vegas at the time. And so I was like, I'm going to go see my sisters. And every single time, there was like about 3 times, third time was the charm.